I don't think I'm alone when I say that I've been really hopeful of a continuation of the Dragon Age series, guys. And now, Dragon Age 4 being, the latest game in the franchise that would be the continuation of this main story going forward. And so, what I want to talk about in this first segment of the show is where is Dragon Age 4 at this point, and when can we expect this game to maybe come out, if at all? So, let's talk about it. So, guys, obviously, BioWare, the creators of the Dragon Age as of late, this developer, what they ended up doing, guys, was they actually canceled Dragon Age 4 back in 2017 to go ahead and bring more hands on deck, or I should say really all hands on deck, on their latest installment of Anthem. And that being said, guys, Anthem, of course, we all know, was not a very well-received game by any stretch of the imagination, so it kind of felt like BioWare was almost going all in on a title that ended up not doing so well for them, unfortunately. Now, what I'll say about that is BioWare felt that Anthem was going to be similar to that of like Mass Effect, and it was going to be kind of like a spiritual successor to other games, and they felt that they really thought they had something there. And I actually think, guys, that Anthem did have some things underneath all of the stuff that we didn't enjoy about the game. I thought that there was something special there, even though you don't really see that at the end of the day because of everything else that's so glaringly wrong with the game. But that being said, what's the next move for BioWare? I mean, we could always say Mass Effect, guys, which obviously I think Mass Effect is a game in which many of us want to see continuation of, but Dragon Age is another one that I would love to see a continuation of at some point or another. And I don't think BioWare has forgotten about Dragon Age 4 at this point, but I think it was just put on the back burner due to, of course, Anthem. So where are we at as far as this timeline is concerned of when would this game ever come out, if it does? And I think, guys, Dragon Age, when you look at the history of this title, it's obviously done very well. Let's put it that way. It's done very well as far as building up a fan base in a major way. And this is something that I think a lot of fans are really hoping for, is that continuation of Dragon Age at some point or another. For me, I just want them to take their time with Dragon Age 4. Obviously, I want them to start working on it, but there's other games, guys, that we want, these developers to work on. That being, some people do want another Anthem game. Some people want another Mass Effect. And so the question is how do they prioritize? And I think that Dragon Age, since it was going to be, in like the early stages of development, then they, canceled it to put all hands on deck with Anthem, which of course was their latest game. I would say, guys, that Dragon Age has obviously been postponed indefinitely at this point. Most likely, they are actually probably working on another Mass Effect game, and then following that, potentially Dragon Age. So I think we might be years away from a Dragon Age when we actually would have probably gotten a Dragon Age 4 much sooner. But instead, guys, we got Anthem. And look, at the end of the day, as long as we get another Dragon Age, because I think that the story, it deserves to have a continuation, because they're really starting to build a following here around this franchise. So I think it's important that they continue this franchise and they kind of move it forward at some point, whenever they feel comfortable moving forward, that is. And so I think Mass Effect, as well as maybe a potential Anthem 2, which I don't think that they would do at this point, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that in the comment section below. Do you think BioWare would make a second Anthem at this point? It's hard to say. I don't think that they would make one anytime in the foreseeable future, because probably they need to focus on just making Anthem as good as they can possibly make that first. And after that point, they kind of regain a lot of people's trust, then they can move on to the second game. So I would say, guys, after Mass Effect is when we can probably expect a Dragon Age 4. And so when might that be? Well, Mass Effect 4, I think we can all agree, is most likely going to be coming out in the next few years, most likely. And obviously, guys, the timeline might be off here, but I'm going to give it a few years for Mass Effect 4 to come out, and then probably 2 to 3 years after that having a Dragon Age 4 come out. So I'm saying, guys, probably within the next 5 to 8 years is when we would see Dragon Age. But at the end of the day, where is Dragon Age 4? Guys, it was canceled indefinitely due to Anthem, and that's pretty much the very short answer here to what happened to Dragon Age 4. And now, all we can really look forward to is when we might see a continuation of this franchise, and I would say that we're still quite a number of years off from the game coming out, because if they had something there with Dragon Age 4, they wouldn't have canceled it to put everybody on deck with Anthem, unless they felt that Anthem, they really had something there, and they just wanted everybody to be hands on deck with that. At the same time, Dragon Age 4 might be one of those games that they've already got the initial concepts done, so maybe after Anthem, they started working on Dragon Age 4, but it sounds like the word is that more and more people, and they're starting to ramp up the talks of Mass Effect, and then following that would probably be a Dragon Age 4 at that point. But I would love to hear from you guys. Where do you guys think Dragon Age 4 is at this point? Do you think it's in the early stages of development? Do you think it's almost done? Do you think it's completely, basically back to square one with this game? And do you think it's going to be on an indefinite hiatus, at least for the foreseeable future? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Dragon Age 4 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.